You saw the little person too? Uh-oh, you dropped him. Hold on, we got a car coming. Woo! Who's with me, everybody? How's it going? I got baby Sana with me. Hey, you. Who's that? Debbie. What's up, Debbie? How's it going? What's up, Riley? Angela? Hey. What's up, everybody joining? I'll wait for some other people to join. Brittany. Very interesting topic, especially that we are on Roman Catholic grounds here. Is the 3 days of darkness people have heard about before. And this is a subject that I would like to talk extensively about. And we're going to talk a little bit, light it up a little bit right now about that. And it's a topic that we can go deep down so many aspects. There's been, I think, a lot of misconceptions too about who said what and what prophecies said were by who. Now, there's a few different people that are attributed to talking about 3 days of darkness. Padre Pio being one of them, and Catherine Emmerich, and Blessed Anna Maria Taigi. Now, Padre Pio didn't specifically talk about 3 days of darkness. I've been researching Padre Pio for many, many years and intimately connected with some of the energy around Padre Pio and some of the saints and some of the beatified and blessed, because even Anna Maria Taigi, I think people, I mean, if you look on Wikipedia, they even have it wrong. Anna Maria Taigi is not a saint. She's blessed. There's a difference. I mean, there's a lot of people that are in the Roman Catholic community that honor her prophecies and pray to her and do rosaries to her and do all that kind of stuff to her, but she is not. She was never canonized as a saint. She was, I think they call it beatified, which is a little different. It's part of your way to sainthood, but she's a blessed, where you see the BL in front of her name when they pronounce her. When they that's called, you know, Blessed Anna Maria Taigi. And she, of course, was from Italy, I think in the 1700s. And this is someone that I've written extensive articles about in the past, even on my Patreon. And she is truly a remarkable story. And some of the things that she talks about, I know were for real. And because they didn't even have certain technologies to even reference to back then as well. And so Anna Maria Taigi, she was married. She had kids. She had a husband, and the husband was like an abusive man, and she had to keep all that abuse and everything bottled up inside. And I brought up how her psychic and spiritual energy. I think it's what triggered it. A lot of times, spiritual energy can be generated through different ways, and abuse is one of them. And she was raising a family, keeping it held down all together. And there's even records that she admitted to cheating on her husband to get back at him. So this is probably, you know, when they in the Catholic community, when they're going to canonize somebody or beatify somebody, they get all of their doctrines that they've ever written together. They get all of the miracles attributed to them together. They get all of their life story, and then they make their decision. Probably she didn't make sainthood because of that, because of the adultery that was talked about in her life. But she, I guess, you know, committed communion, did her communion and all that, like, which is ridiculous. They have you say your sins to another human being, and all of a sudden that's going to absolve you from God. You could get it off your chest by yourself. You don't need another person like that, you know. So Anna Maria Taigi, in my opinion, through the abuse that she was suffering, it triggered her psychic energy and her spiritual energy even more. And she was having these mysterious visits from a miniature sun. And it was like a glowing, luminous sphere that would appear before her. And she even described it as having like thorns around it, and the thorns come up at either end, almost like caging around, like a cage around the sphere in a way. And she talks about 3 days of darkness specifically. She's one of the only ones that specifies the actual 3 days like that. And she talks about how that we're not even going to be able to like look outside your windows, go outside, that there'll be literal demons in the air. And saying that is very, very interesting, because even her saying that like no light by man, no power made by man will be able to be used. No light in any way is able going to be used that's man-made. And if you go outside or open your windows, the air will literally be infected with evil, with demons. Padre Pio does say something similar about not being able to go outside and all of that. So I think he even probably based it off of Anna Maria Taigi's prophecies. And she talks about how 3 days and 3 nights there will be this darkness where the air will be infected even. And I've had very similar prophetic visions that line right up to what she's talking about, and it's very eerie, because one of them was not too long ago, a week or two ago, I've talked about, where it was complete darkness, like literally darkness. The buildings, the atmosphere, everything around was just darkness. And me and a group of other people were on this transport bus, parked, stuck in the dark, just complete dark. And then up above ahead, we saw this huge stream of energy, like a ray, like a huge beam of light, of energy coming out of the sky, vertically going down. It looked like it was miles wide and circular. And then as soon as we all saw it on the bus, instantly everything around us outside was these huge feline type humanoids and different pasty, like almost like pixelated faces, like almost bad Nintendo graphics type faces, were everywhere, tearing through things. And I think during the 3 days of darkness, something like that is going to take place. Now it's going to be when internet is shut down, all of that. And I think that we have a way out of it. I think this is why we have that's been ingrained in our memory, our eternal memory of Earth. And I do believe it's related to crystal skulls that can help heal the Earth instantly, have a wave of consciousness come over everybody in the planet. Like a DMT awakening for everybody on the planet. Explosion of their consciousness. And I do think that's the way we're going to battle it. There's a literal war going on. That's unseen. And the more light codes we activate within us, the more the visible light spectrum of these unseen forces become And Catherine Emmerich is another one. Hey, good morning. And Catherine's is number one. The interesting thing is I spent, about a year ago, I spent a good couple of months solid straight researching Anne Catherine Emmerich, reading many of her channelings, I guess you can call them. And she was canonized as a saint in the Catholic Church. And in my opinion, for me, not just researching her, but doing meditations on her and having a psychic connection with her, even people I was doing readings on were, I think, being led to me. Talks about, well, and in my opinion, the Catholic Church literally killed her. They confined her to a bed, and she was able to like time jump, and it was taking her health, and they were obsessed with her finding as much about as Jesus and other people in the past as they could. And she was remote viewing Jesus. She was remote viewing all of these ancient biblical places and people, and it basically took the life from her. She was confined to bed. They had her only eating communion and drinking water. And you could see a lot of pictures of her where she has her head wrapped in bandages and she's confined to a bed. And some of her prophecies were really intense. Same with Anna Maria Taigi. And Anna Maria Taigi, after death, her body was incorrupt for a good amount of time, which is another whole rabbit hole to go down. They still have it in a glass reliquary, but it's no longer incorrupt. But her body was retaining a freshness for a long time after she died. Even it was exposed to the air for a while too. They had it on display. But most of those saints that are seem that they talk about are incorruptible, they have wax faces and masks that are put on them, and they're embalmed. You know, the Roman Catholic Church took over the Egyptian cult of the dead, even though in the mainstream they frown upon Egyptian sorcery and the Egyptian occult knowledge. They actually continued that religion almost in every way, right down to the embalming of their saints. And the whole Sacred Heart of Jesus is related to the scarab heart technology, replacing the heart with the scarab. Most likely, you know, it could be some 3 days of darkness where everything's out, and then it comes back on, and it's like Skynet. You have to like literally scan yourself into the network just to get your toothbrush and brush your teeth in the morning. You know? Look at that baby! See who else is out there. We rise, they fall. Lumina, Riley, Rage, Peace of Mind. Yeah, well, there's the prophecy. You know, Peace of Mind saying that would be mean. There's the prophecy of the 13 crystal skulls. And you know, everything syncs. There's been a resurgence of the crystal skulls in the consciousness of humanity. It's coming on strong. And in my opinion, what everybody thought was going to happen in December 21st of 2012 is actually coming here in December of 2020 or 2021. I think there was some sort of time manipulation, and literally the change and the forces that were supposed to happen in 2012 we're experiencing now. And there's prophecy of 13 crystal skulls, right? Where there will be 12 surrounded by the one in the middle. And in the 1980s, I even have a book that was my mom's, signed by one of the authors. I did a huge article, a couple of articles about this over the last few days on my Patreon. And then literally the day after I do the article about these crystal skulls, Rex on Leak Projects has one of the guys that wrote the book that I've been talking about in the 80s on his show. And I didn't tell him to, I didn't recommend him get that. It was just like sort of like a sync. I did bring up crystal skulls on my show with him a week or so ago, so maybe that kind of influenced it. But the sync is just amazing because I never mentioned this guy's name. So I literally was talking about the amethyst skull, Ami, that is it has the back of base of the skull elongated like the Mayan. I have one that's a lapis lazuli just like that, but smaller. And supposedly there's a group of skulls that are very ancient that can literally bring the consciousness of humanity up and restore ancient knowledge that we once lost to the planet. And they're like silicon computers, memory banks for Mother Nature and for everything that's always been on the planet. Energy spots in Long Island? Well, I don't know if you've ever heard of the Montauk Indians, but where Camp Hero is, Montauk, Montauk Island, Montauk Beach over there, where Camp Hero is, that is a known energy vortex there. Of course, there's been rumors of underground projects under there for many, many years. But Montauk is definitely, I've been there before, I've been there several times. It's a very powerful energy vortex. And the Montauk Indians at one time supposedly had pyramids beneath the ground there. And a hurricane in the 1920s or something like that, I think, really ruined the structure that was that went to like chambers beneath the ground. But the beneath the ground chambers, I'm sure, are still there. And, Camp Hero built their spot on that for a reason. But that's definitely, there's other spots too, even not in Long Island, but all throughout New York. Ley lines run everywhere. They're like veins in your body. They bring the positive and negative energy lines to the different organs of the planet, or energy spots of the planet. Your body is set up just like the landscape of the earth. The ley lines are the veins in your body, and they're bringing the blood or the energy to the different energy spots or organs. Alabama, I'm not sure exactly, but maybe we should do a live scrying session where we have a map of different areas, and I do a scrying section over that map, because we can scry right over on the map for energy spots. And even in like Greenbush, New York, or in that area, Green, New York, they're like suburbs of Albany, and those areas of New York, they have a big energy vortex there as well. And supposedly they have underground installations there with the military in Green, New York, underneath a lake there. And I'm not sure if I've ever been there before, but there was times where I had these weird experiences as a kid where they felt like abduction dreams, where I would have these dreams of a bunch of kids in a room, like catatonic looking, sitting there nude, like looking catatonic. And I used to just think they were weird dreams, but there might be more to that. And supposedly there's a lot of prisons in that area too, like in Green, New York. They even like Greenhaven, all those prisons around that area. There's definitely an energy vortex in that area as well. And I do believe they have an underground base there. West Point's right around here as well, so But that area, green, that's far from me. It's a couple hours upstate. I'm like right close to the city. But thank you, everybody. Like and subscribe if you haven't. Check out the mysticalspiralstore.com. There's new items up every day. And Spiral out.